Welcome to the audio introduction for the short film Monuments, a Donmar Local Project investigating the ways in which the British Empire still exists today. Director Sara, Aniqah, Malik and an ensemble of young people of colour from the boroughs of Camden and Westminster have worked with the writer Nessah Muthy, director of photography Femi Awojide, and movement director Kane Husbands to explore the experiences of black and brown young people living in London today. The film is approximately 7 minutes long, and the audio introduction is approximately 5.5 minutes. The film intercuts between 3 locations. On a cold grey-blue day, the actors, all dressed in winter coats, stand in the centre of Parliament Square, a large open green area 75 metres across, sitting between Westminster Abbey, Whitehall, the Supreme Court, and the Houses of Parliament. The square is filled with statues of notable figures, and the camera lingers on a plaque depicting a parliamentary debate, a statue of David Lloyd George caught mid-stride with an outstretched arm, and the grave, bulky and imposing figure of Winston Churchill. As commuters, tourists and double-decker buses pass in the background, the 10 actors stare directly into the camera or take in their surroundings as they tell their stories. In the first section, Jada, Kezia, Eugene and Mojahed speak about education, accompanied by the other voices acting as a chorus in voiceover. All speak from Parliament Square, except for Kezia, who sits on a wooden bench, in front of a brick wall in a quiet courtyard. Jada Samuels is a black British actor in her late teens with almond eyes, and hair which is a mix between tight, corkscrewed 3C curls and a delicate and coily 4A style, pulled back in a ponytail. Kezia Augustine is a black British actress in her late teens with curly black hair, plaited and intertwined with yellow ribbon, and a nose piercing. Eugene Adama is a black British actor in his late teens with long black afro hair and fair skin. Mojahed Mohamed Khair is a Sudanese African actor with short, rough black hair and angled features. In the next section, Solyana speaks about her hair, Emma and Ria speak about their mixed-race experiences, and Daniel speaks about prejudice. Solyana Samuel is a black British actress in her late teens with intelligent eyes and hair pulled back into a ponytail. Emma Stromberg is a mixed-race actor in her late teens with thick, slightly wavy shoulder-length hair and tanned skin. Ria Paul Fry is mixed-race, white British and black Caribbean, in her late teens with brown bouncy ringlet curls that fall to her shoulder. Daniel Brooks Amem is a black British actor in his late teens with black wool hair. In the final section, Mia, Solyana, Eugene and Omar stand in a large dilapidated room. Between glass doors and windows, paint peels from the wall, and the floor is covered in a white cloth. Wearing grey tracksuit shorts and vests, the actors are illuminated with a golden spotlight as they encounter a thick, dark brown liquid, with the consistency of watery mud, which, after a time, dries on their skin into a light clay. Mia Lobban is a black British non-binary actor of Caribbean descent. They have short, coily 4C hair, worn in a 2 French braid hairstyle and later in 2 low afro puff pigtails. Omar Williams is a British actor in his late teens, with short brown hair styled into afro texture locks and a pencil mustache. The screen fades to black and statues in the centre of Parliament Square appear, surrounding 10 young black and brown people who also stand in a large dilapidated room or sit on a bench in a quiet courtyard as they tell their stories.
I don't know how to start this. You're actually pretty cool for a teacher. Like, I like you sometimes. There's this thing I do, right? Where I sink my eyes into yours. Because I wonder, what is it you see when you look at me? Or what you don't see? If you see anything at all. There are things I want to tell you.
Things maybe you should know.
And I wanna say it real loud.
for the people at the back.
It's P with Mr. Combs, always drinking a can of Coke. Me and Poppy are mucking, chasing each other. She shoves me hard, I shove her hard back. She lands in something. Nothing serious. Stinging nettles. Her ankle goes red. When I say red, I mean a little red. She shoves me one more time. I land in nettles too, on my hand. It stings like shit. Poppy's with Mr. Combs. He takes one look at her ankle and sends her straight to the school's nurse. I go up to him. I need to go too. My hand's killing me.
Where's your mark?
He says. I tell him it's really hurting.
You're not going nowhere.
He can't see it on my skin, but I can feel it. I tell him again.
No.
He swigs his Coke. Is he dumb? He swigs his Coke again. I'm going to the nurse, I say. He rams his cold Coke can into my hand.
If the sting's really there, that'll sort it.
I look at him. He looks at me. It's soothing, the coldness, but everything in me wants to rip it off.
I've got this theory, right, that you know nothing, which is quite shocking for a teacher, right?
There's a Black Lives Matter poster in your classroom.
You show us videos of MLK.
You know about seeing wonders, the humorous.
Here's the thing though, you don't know how it feels when you all assume I'm a fast runner.
To have never studied a single book by a writer of colour.
To colour in my homeland on a red British Empire map.
Here I am, a young black girl who wears her afro as a crown. That 4B texture, curly pattern excites you so much that you're eager to touch. Please don't. I'm not a petting zoo. My hair is special. It's my culture, my heritage, my blackness, my happiness.
Here I am.
Stuck in the middle.
I'm not either or.
I am in the middle. I do not fit into the boxes you put us in.
I'm not for or against black or white.
I see a different kind of racism. All sides,
White, black, brown.
have at some point hurt me because I'm not who you think I am.
Skin is deceptive.
Look, every day, just coming from school, shopkeeper, black friends, minding their own business, didn't do it. Witnesses, fit to judge us, always prejudge. Fireworks.
In a large empty room, a thick glob of brown liquid lands in Eugene's hand, who plays with it and wipes it away. More lands on him, until his arms are covered in a thick, clumpy layer, which he rubs onto his face with a helpless look. Omar and Soliana's jaws are smeared with the liquid, and Soliana tries to rub in more mud as it lands on her shoulders. Large globs fly into Mia's back, and as they buckle under the impact, they curl up on the ground with the other three.
Do not feel lonely. I am the bright sun.
I have casted my rays on your mother and your mother's mother.
But you have never felt my embrace.
Do
not feel lonely, for it is not you who is lost.
The group sleep on the ground, looking like statues as the liquid dries into a clay on their skin, and the picture quickly intercuts shots of the statues of Parliament Square. A drop of water falls onto Omar's hands and his fingers twitch. He begins to stir as more drops land on his foot. He slowly rolls himself onto his back, and specks of clay fall from his skin as Soliana opens her eyes and stares into the camera. Omar gasps for air and sluggishly pulls himself to his feet, brushing at the dried clay which falls away in flakes. Water falls from the sky and he wipes the dried clay from his body. The shower becomes steadier and Soliana stares into the camera as it cleanses her. The water falls faster still, and Omar vigorously removes every last trace of the clay. The water stops, and Soliana stares into the camera with shiny eyes as the water runs down her face. Her jaw is still covered in the brown liquid. Omar emerges wet and clean. Back in Parliament Square, the young Londoners stare into the camera and laugh. And the camera intercuts quicker and quicker between the 10 laughing and beaming faces. The picture cuts to black, and the credits appear. The Monuments Company. Eugene Adama, Kezia Augustine, Daniel Brooks Amem, Alexandra Elliott, Mojahed Mohamed Kair, Mia Lobban, Ria Paul Fry, Soliana Samuel, Jada Samuels, Emma Stromberg, and Omar Williams. Conceived and directed by Sara Aniqah Malik. Written by Nessah Muthy with the company. Director of Photography Femi Awojide. Produced by Phil McCormack. Line produced by Abiola Rufai Awojide. Sound designer and composer Zana. Movement director Kane Husbands. Dramaturg Alais Ismail. Artist mentor Nadia Latif. Post-production Trisense. Sound recordist Rufus Ambler. First assistant camera Juan Minota. Spark Nathan Gallimore. Sound mix Zana. Makeup designer Chloe Rose. Makeup designer assistant Alex Holmes. Stage manager Lizzie Donaghy. For the Donmar Warehouse, artistic director Michael Longhurst. Executive director Henny Finch. Special thanks to Ria Jessica Joygopal. The Mayor of London Sadiq Khan. Christopher McQuiggan. Stuart Frost, Femi Nylander, Bijan Shaybani, Sophie Whelan's, Joseph Hancock, Anthony Dow, Eddie Gower and SL Vision, and the Donmar Warehouse staff. Donmar Discover. Discover is our participation program through which we create opportunities for creative discovery and community cohesion, bringing people together to celebrate stories and new voices through theatre experiences. Given the current global crisis, we feel it is more important than ever that we reach people in our local community and provide them with access to cultural opportunities. We wish to give our generous thanks to the following individuals, corporate and trust and foundation supporters of Discover, all of whom have enabled our work with young people and the local community while the Donmar's doors remain closed. Anonymous. The Doyley Cart Charitable Trust, the Emmanuel K Foundation, John Lyons Charity, Adam and Victoria Freudenheim, Kirkland and Ellis, Boris Karloff Charitable Foundation, the Oak Foundation, Chapman Charitable Trust, Universal Consolidated Group, Claude Duffield Foundation, the Thompson Family Charitable Trust. We would also like to thank all of the members and donors who generously support the Donmar Warehouse. To find out how to support the Donmar Warehouse, visit www.donmarwarehouse.com/support. This introduction was written and recorded by Michael Skellen, a mixed-race Australian, and edited by Gary Giles on behalf of Vocalize.